So I know that you guys are going to have talent in the secondary. Talk to me about the rest of the defense that, Miami or the other teams on the schedule is going to face.
Yeah, big news for Florida. I mean, you're getting Tyreek Sapp and Caleb Banks back. Those guys are getting mocked. Talking about it was key for Florida for guys that could have went in the NFL last year to get guys back. Like I said, Jake Slaughter and Austin Barber on the offensive line. Well, you turn around on the other side on defense in the trenches, you got Tyreek Sapp and Caleb Banks back. I mean, it's like they were the two guys that really led the charge in Florida's turnaround last year. I mean, for all the praise DJ Lagway should get in a lot of areas, it was really that Florida defense that went a long way in Florida turning their season around. Giving up 41 to Miami at home. Texas A&M scores in the 30 with Marcel Reed taking over just, for one of his first starts. I mean, the defense just got out to such a terrible start last year. They made a lot of changes in the bye week. Ron Roberts really steps in as the main defensive coordinator in that first bye week last year, kind of takes over. And you saw it almost right away. And it was a lot of accountability for that side of the ball and guys stepping up. And then getting those two guys that really lead that defense to come back was big for Florida. Was without them, there are some depth questions behind those guys, or more so behind Caleb Banks on the interior of that defensive line. I think Florida's finding an edge where Tyreek Sapp plays. They got a lot of options there, but getting those two guys, I think was just huge for leadership and a production standpoint as well. Tyreek Sapp was one of the highest returning SEC guys from Pro Football Focus when it was all said and done. So having those guys up front, and then George Gumbs returning. Now Florida at edge, they had a lot of options at the end of the year. And you saw Jack Pyburn transfer to LSU. You saw TJ Searcy transfer to Texas A&M. Florida had three what they thought starter types at that spot. Yeah. Well, in today's college football, you're not paying three guys starter money at one spot. So they said, hey, all right, well, George Gumbs, we're going to figure it out. You're going to stay. Pyburn goes to LSU. Searcy goes to Texas A&M, and Florida will have to play those guys this coming up year. But going along with L.J. McCray, they're the 5-star. He's going to be helping back up George Gumbs there at that edge spot. And one guy who's just, as a true freshman, has really turned heads so far is Jaden Woods. He's come in. He's been getting first-team reps at the edge spot as well, while Florida kind of maneuvers around some defensive line to try and provide some more depth there. As I said, the interior defensive line is probably the biggest worry as far as depth goes. I think Florida's really got to figure that out through fall camp. Jamari Lyons returns after he got injured in fall camp a year ago. He was thought to be starter-like material before he went down, so they get him back. How can he recover to get some more depth in there? And then Florida's linebacker group, Florida's high on them. You got Pup Howard returning, Jaden Robinson returning, Miles Graham returning. That three starters that they see in their mind at the linebacker spot to go along with former four-star Aaron Childs as well. So still something to prove there, but I think there was a lot of production there last year too before Pup Howard went down in that Texas game last year. So front seven, probably some of the best front seven talent Florida's had in quite some time. Now, you mentioned the secondary, and Florida's bringing guys in, but safety's probably still the biggest question beside the interior defensive line. And it's more so about, who's back there with Jordan Castell and Bryce Thornton. Bryce Thornton really had a nice November last year, was big in that Ole Miss upset there for Florida. But Jordan Castell's going into his third year. And he's played ever since he was a true freshman at Florida. He's led in snap counts his freshman year, his sophomore year. But he had a sophomore slump last year. So it's now about, hey, can he maybe pick up where we thought he would be coming out of his freshman season? So in that corner, Devin Moore comes back. He was kind of banged up last year. Can he stay healthy? I mean, he's high NFL draft material if he can just be on the field, but he is always hurt. And this is kind of his last hurrah if he's going to prove that he can stay healthy. And then got a nice little battle at cornerback, too, between former 5-star Cormani McClain and Dijon Johnson. That's going to be a really good battle. Dijon's battling some injuries right now. Cormani took most of the first-team reps in spring, taking most of the first-team reps right now, and has really come a long way body type-wise, off-the-field-wise, doing all of the responsibilities that he needs to take care of. As you guys know, I mean, bounced around from Miami to Colorado and well, should Florida take him or not? And, there were some early issues even at Florida. But now everything seems A-okay with Cormani McLean putting his head down, putting weight on, doing the things he needs to do off the field. And hopefully now for him, we start to see that pay off when the season rolls around.
Yeah, I mean, hey, good for him. It was definitely a struggle for a while. Definitely had a plethora of non-football issues that were keeping him from being the player that he could be. But hey, we'll definitely see.